Hello everybody. So tonight I'm going to softly speak and read you some random nebula facts that I looked up online. And I'm also going to be sipping on some tea. And also, happy Halloween to everybody. I hope this relaxes you and gets you to fall asleep. So, without further ado, let's get started. Here we have a picture of the nebula stars. It says Nebula Facts. Nebula are clouds of gas and dust which form in interstellar space. They range in size from millions of miles across to hundreds of light years across. Nebulas are mostly composed of hydrogen, along with smaller amounts of other gases and dust particles. Stars and planetary systems are formed from the gas and dust within nebulae. The Orion Nebula is the closest star forming region to Earth. It lies 1,300 light years away and is thought to be around 25 light years across. Nebula, which exist outside the Milky Way, are known as extragalactic nebula. Up until the 1920s, distant galaxies were classified as nebula. Some nebula can be seen in the night sky with the naked eye. In 5 billion years, our Sun will become a planetary nebula. The word nebula is derived from the Latin word for cloud. The plural of nebula is nebulae, although nebulous is also used. Sorry about that. Hopefully that wasn't too loud of my cat. Don't know why. Every time I go to make a video, he decides that he wants to be more vocal. Okay. Nebula gems of the universe. I'm gonna get another picture here. I think nebulas are so cool. Nebulae come in an extraordinary variety of shapes, colors, and sizes, making them some of the most spectacular and fascinating objects in our universe. Thanks to the modern techniques of astrophotography, the breathtaking beauty of these clouds of gas and dust are being revealed. The names they are given often reflect the familiar shapes they form into, such as the Butterfly Nebula, Lemon Slice Nebula, or North America Nebula. Nebulae are not just a pretty face. They provide the material environments from which stars are born, forming the basis from which entire planetary systems can take shape, such as our own solar system. The abundance of hydrogen gas within nebulae provides the platform from which stars are created, and the tiny dust particles eventually form into orbiting bodies around the new stars, such as planets and asteroids. When those very same stars die, the process which continue as the matter they eject into interstellar space, which form into new nebulae. Types of nebulae. Got all kinds of pictures here. Emission nebulae. Emission nebulae emit their own light due to its star-forming regions. The ultraviolet light emitted by clusters of large, young stars ionize the surrounding gas into various colors. The light emitted will depend on the type of gas. Many emission nebulae appear red due to the presence of large amounts of hydrogen gas. Dark nebulae. Dark nebulae are dense areas of gas and dust that block out any light coming from behind. They are often seen in conjunction with emission or reflection nebulae. Very large dark nebulae can often be seen with the naked eye as dark patches against the brighter areas of the Milky Way. The famous Horsehead Nebulae, which is pictured to the left, is a dark nebulae. So that would be the Horsehead there. You can see it, it's kind of small. Reflection nebulae. As the name suggests, reflection nebulas do not emit their own light. They reflect light from a nearby star. The energy emitted by the nearby star or stars is not sufficient to ionize the surrounding gas, so we don't get the range of colors emitted by other nebulae. Instead, the light is reflected off the dust in the nebula. So, it is similar to the visible light given off by stars. Planetary nebula. Planetary nebulae are formed when stars similar to the size of the Sun use up the hydrogen in their core and instead begin fusing hydrogen in an outer shell surrounding the core. This results in them expanding to hundreds of times their original size and becoming red giants. Eventually, the core heats up enough to begin fusing helium. When the helium runs out, the star becomes unstable and its outer layers are ejected, leaving only the core, remaining in the form of a white dwarf. The radiation emitted by the white dwarf ionizes the surrounding gas, producing spectacular color displays. Supernova remnants. Supernova remnants are formed when large stars come to the end of their lifespan. When these stars become unstable, a violent explosion rips them apart, scattering matter in all directions at incredible speed. The energy created by a supernova is enormous, causing it to briefly outshine its own galaxy. The material ejected will eventually form into a nebula. The interstellar medium. The space between stars is not empty space. It actually contains gas and dust that makes up around 15% of the visible mass in the Milky Way. This is known as the interstellar medium, or ISM. Even though matter in the ISM is abundant, it is highly dispersed over vast areas. It is in fact far more dispersed than any vacuum that can be created on Earth. The ISM has an average density of only 1 atom for every cubic centimeter. Compare that to Earth's atmosphere, which contains a 100 billion atoms per cubic centimeter. The vast majority of the ISM is composed of the most abundant gas in the universe, hydrogen, which makes up around 90% of its mass. Around 9% is composed of other gases, mostly helium. The remaining 1% of the ISM is made up of dust particles. This is not like the dust you find in your home. These tiny particles are only 1 to 20 millionth of a centimeter in size. The nature of gravity means that over time these materials will be attracted to one another, forming into clumps of matter, which in turn will join other clumps of matter, eventually forming into huge dark nebula clouds that can be seen against the bright backdrop of the bright Milky Way. These nebulae can eventually give birth to stars, planets, and moons, such as we see in our own solar system. Stellar nurseries. These dark molecular clouds of gas described above can become stellar nurseries, providing an environment which allows stars to be born. When pockets of the dark nebula have sufficient density, hydrogen molecules, hydrogen molecules will begin to condense. This is possibly triggered by the shock waves of a nearby supernova explosion. Clumps of hydrogen will grow large enough to begin collapsing under their own weight, heating up and creating the early stage of a star called a protostar. Over thousands of years, these young stars continue to grow and heat up until its core is hot enough to allow nuclear fusion. This is when hydrogen atoms are fused together, producing enormous amounts of energy. The star is now in its main sequence and will remain in this state for most of its life. Around 5 billion years ago, such a process produced a yellow dwarf star, which was located several thousand light years from the center of our galaxy. Out of the large disk of gas and the dust that formed around the new star, a small rocky planet was created, which was in just the right location to allow water to flow on its surface. This planet was our very own Earth, and through the process of evolution, these conditions ultimately allow life to flourish in our world. And that's it for the random facts of the nebula star. If you guys enjoyed this, then let me know in the comments. Then I can continue reading about the famous nebulas. Looks like they have Crab Nebula, Horsehead Nebula, Orion Nebula, and the Ring Nebula. I'm sure there's more, but those are the ones that I have at the moment that I could read for you. Just let me know. And some things that I would like to try and get done soon is the second part to the stress relieving clinic role play, and I want to do like a receptionist or retail role play, possibly with like a sassy twist or something. Let me know. And I think in the second part of the stress relief clinic, I'm going to try and do a longer match lighting session. I haven't quite decided yet, so just let me know if you guys would like something like that. Okay. Well, I hope everybody has a good night. Hope the cars driving by and the sounds of my cat weren't too much. Also, I'm working on growing my nails out. I've actually been keeping them polished pretty much every day for about a month now. So, I can try and do a good tapping video maybe if you guys would like that. Suggestions are always welcome. Thanks, guys.